Te rangi Maungawhau has an intense interest in Maunga, especially volcanoes, and he's acutely aware of Maungawhau, the mountain under which his Kohongahunga is nestled. There in the sandpit, he spent hours building Maunga, drawing other children into his play.
The interest grew and grew to the point that everybody noticed, and it sort of took over the whole of Puna, and so we started thinking about different experiences that we could provide for the children to further their knowledge on what they already knew about Maunga and volcanoes.
The staff of the Kohongahunga are working together to extend and enhance their art program, so they naturally plan to incorporate the arts in their exploration of the Maunga.
Find an edge that changes.
As part of their overall professional development, a group attended a session at a neighbouring early childhood centre, and that centre in turn are keen to visit the Kohongahunga to further their knowledge of Māoritanga.
If we didn't have the relationship with the community that we have here, then we wouldn't have been able to do what we were to do. I mean, the resources here on campus, our whānau, Ngāti Mublia coming.
Ngāti Blair is Heritage and Resource Manager for Ngāti Whātua or Ōrākei, charged with educating the community about pre-European Auckland.
My generation in particular, we grew up not knowing all of our stories, many of the stories of our history, of our ancestors and what happened in and around Auckland, and I guess our generation has seen it as important that we need to recover that knowledge and then share it amongst all Aucklanders.
Ngārimu and Ngāti Whātua see the region's Maunga as ideal sites to revive and disseminate those stories through the creation of monuments.
With over 50 pa sites in the Auckland region, none of them have any signatures of the past existence of Māori people. We have lots of other symbols, trig stations, obelisks, so there's this 1,000 years of history that is being kept from us, and so small monuments are just the beginning of trying to tell the great stories that are still in these places.
One of the monuments Ngārimu had talked with the kayako about was this one on the lower slopes of Maungawhau, a sculpture commemorating one of the great stories of star-crossed love in Māoridom.
And then they fell in love, and this is Puhihuia.
The story of Pupuhuia, played out 5 centuries ago on the slopes of Maungawhau and the lands and water below, add extra layers of meaning to the hikoi to the summit. And as the children share their songs and observations, the kayako are able to pass on other dimensions learned from Ngārimu.
And then we went up the hill to where we could see Maungawhau, and the story of that was that even though the children could see millions of houses, in the old days, those were market gardens. From Maungawhau right over to Penrose, they were just veggies. And that's why I was telling the children that they had to have imagination to think of scrub, and at that area they were cut up into different market gardens. And we went up further, and then we showed the children where the marae was actually built, even the dugout and where the steps that lead up to the marae for the porphyry and karanga, they're still there. And we showed that to the children. So they built a wharenui here, and if you look down the side there, you can see where they used as a footpath to walk in and out of this area. Just down there, look. So each spot that we stopped had a story of its own. Engari te kaha wera o te whenua, when Mataho made it so hot, it melted and made everything join together and formed a big rock.
They were quite keen to at the top sit down with their sketchbooks and draw pictures of Maunga, and they enjoyed moving to different positions and looking, since it's quite a wide view of what they could see sitting down and drawing, and we provided them with just basic graphite pencils, so they were just sketching.
You can look through and you can decide what you're going to draw. No? You want to draw a volcano, eh? Rangitoto is a volcano.
Wha Elvi, a parent from the Kohongahunga whānau, is an artist in her own right. She and the other teachers encouraged the children to move to different positions on the Maunga to gain different vantage points for their sketching. Elvie models the importance of adults working alongside the mokopuna. The children's drawings are not necessarily replications of actual Maunga. Some imaginations provide rich material to create Maunga art, and it's not hard to picture tanewha and monsters in this terrain.
A friendly monster? I'm glad that they're friendly.
And a bad monster.
A bad one this time.
Back at the Kohongahonga, the effects of visiting the Maunga were immediate.
They realised that Maungawhau is special to Te Puna to them because they sing and talk about it. And they were talking about their own Maunga that they talk about in the mornings when they do their pepeha. One who comes from Tūhui knows his Maunga very well, and there was another one that came from Ngāti Parau who says there's lots of Maunga there, and there's even Maungas that are whales. But one of our little European ones, who is Maunga he refers to, that's in England, it's his Maunga.
Claywork provided an ideal vehicle for prompting more learning about local Maunga and about volcanoes generally. With their sketches as motivation, the children familiarised themselves with the media and found ways of creating the shapes they required.
Are they the hot ones?
They experimented with the tools on offer and were frequently motivated to refer to the resources that the kayako had gathered. Wha Elvie returned to the Kohongahonga to help the kayako and the children when they did screen printing. She began by modelling the process before the children set to work, tearing paper shapes that would be placed onto the screen.
Do you like that shape?
Yeah.
Now what was the next step that we had to do? Is that enough on there? Does that look like lava to you?
The process allows for experimentation and discussion. When a result's not satisfactory for the artist, it can be painted over or transformed by the application of a new layer. And gradually, children build their work.
Amazing, great that these stories are really relevant and they can inspire even our little kids. Well, all cultures connect to their landscapes, and you can ask anyone, what is their river and what is their mountain, and they'll go, oh yeah, actually we used to go up to the lookout tower and I guess that's my mountain. But for any young person, it's very important that they know who they are and where they're from, and that makes them stronger in all aspects of their life.